So it took a whole year and a half, some 18 to 20 months before I finally had accepted, like, I'm back in the place that tried to kill me. I'm back in the place that tried to take me out. I'm back around people that had hurt me, people that I had built up walls for, people that I didn't want to be around, that I didn't want to see. I wanted to live my life as far away from Kingfisher, but not too far. And now I'm back. And I'm back with kids because I said I was going to be a virgin, and now I got to come back with all of these issues, all of this mess that I never got cleaned up in the first place. When I had the time to clean it up, I decided I wasn't going to clean up my mess. And so I made a TikTok about taking out my emotional garbage, and that's what happened in 2021. Everything that came up, I gave to God in the best way I knew how to. And not only did I give it to God, but I had action steps behind it. And this is where mindfulness came into play, because I was listening to affirmations, I was listening to sound therapy, different things to, they say that it can raise your vibration. There's a certain frequency that actually rainbows give off that I learned about. And they give off this frequency of a 528 hertz. But also that same frequency, when nature is in balance, happens in the grass we walk on. And that's what I started listening to. And I didn't know this at the time, but God was walking me through this process of renewing my mind from being this person that hated herself, that hated going out, that was so anxious, was so fearful, that was so frightened for her children's well-being, that was so scared of her own well-being, that was scared for her parents' well-being, her sisters, her brothers, her aunts, her cousins. I just walked around in fear all the time. And I still was undiagnosed, guys, with depression and anxiety, because I was like, no, you're not going to put that label on me. And in 2020 and throughout 2021, I made the decision to stop watching porn. And that was a really, really big deal for me at that time, because I had already spent 19 years consuming all of this junk, where I thought those images would be burned in my head forever. And I just want to be honest with y'all. There's not as many images as there used to be. And some of those images are getting hazier and hazier every day. And that makes me excited, because y'all have no clue what I've walked through. Proverbs 14:20 says, nobody will understand the joys and the bitternesses of your life. And I stand on that and I believe it, because even as I say it, like, unless you've walked through this, and everybody has their own thing, you won't understand my excitement and my freedom and my liberty. And so following that, I made the decision. I don't remember when I made it in 2022, but I said, okay, I'll just keep track of it now in 2023. I don't know when it is, but I've been able to officially stop masturbating, if I counted it from now, was 75 days. And I know it's been a lot longer than that. So y'all keep me in your prayers as I say that, because something's going to try to come and attack me. But to be having that freedom, I'm like, oh my gosh, no wonder I used to have so much lack of energy, because I was going and hiding so much. But now you get to walk in this freedom and this newness of Christ. This is the part of Christianity that I love for people to know about and see, not because the other stuff isn't important, but because there's a hope and a future when you get to know God. He gives us that hope. He restores us. He redeems us. He acknowledges us. We are chosen by him, and we matter to him. And he left the 99 to come after his daughter, and he has stayed with me for 3 years, walking with me and talking with me and telling me that I matter. And telling me, baby, don't touch that. That's hot. Baby, don't watch that. You don't want that in your system. And also, me and God kind of have a ghetto relationship. So, like, I kind of let him talk to me like he's one of my dudes. Like, if he wants to come and tell me something, and I even said it before, like, God, I feel like you just smacked me in the back of my head like my mama used to do when I would do something stupid. Like, girl, you know better. Don't do that. Oh, you gonna do it again? Well, this is what your consequences are. You still want to do it? I already told you, okay. But thank God we also serve a God. Not only is he redeeming and restoring, but we don't even get the full impact of the consequences we deserve. For everything that I did, for all of the lies I told, for all of the people I manipulated, for all of the pornography I watched, for all of the speeding limits that I broke, even down to the little things, from overeating, from not taking care of my temple, from not praying for people. I deserve to die. And sadly, we all deserve death. But because we believe that Jesus lived, he died, and he rose again, I am worthy of his patience. I am worthy of the joy he's given. I am worthy of the peace. And I tried to go get peace from weed. I tried to go get peace from sex. I tried to go get peace from being sarcastic and manipulative and petty. And there's no peace in that. I just lost a piece of myself. And so also for the last 3 years, I've had to spend time going to different places. And this is just my journey, and I hope that y'all don't have to spend all this time doing this. But I had to go to the different places in Kingfisher, in Dover, in Okarche, in Oklahoma City, and claim back my piece of peace that I left behind. And say, I'm sorry, Daddy God, I messed this up. You got to go and take it back and fix it. My hands is all over it. I'm so sorry. And all these experiences have led me to being diagnosed with depression and anxiety, have led them to almost diagnosing me with bipolar depression, with almost diagnosing me with PTSD, with almost diagnosing me with so many things. But by continuing to worship and reading my word and having community and accountability, I have went from severe depression and anxiety to mild anxiety and just generalized anxiety. And therapy, not everybody's for it, but I am. Everybody might not be for reading the word of God, but I am. Because I can only see what it brought me out of. What he came and he scooped out and he said, get that off of you, get that off of you. That's not what I said you're gonna be. That's not who I said you're called to be. No, I don't care what your mama said. I don't care what your auntie, brother, cousin, family said. I don't care what that stranger said. Because you read today who I called you to be. And I have had to go and ask people for forgiveness. I have had to enroll myself in parenting classes. I have had to take the initiative and show up for, I don't remember what those meetings were called. But most people only think it's for drug addicts, but it's not, because we're all addicted to different things. Some of us are addicted to our phone. We need to get rehab from our mobile devices. And just getting information and being able to figure out a way to use that information. Because, y'all, I didn't want to live for myself. I also didn't want to live for God. And I idolized other people and other things in my life. And I ran to pornography because I was upset. I ran to pornography because I was bitter. I ran to pornography because I was grief-stricken. And the only thing that has been able to satisfy me has been running to God. Like, this is how I feel. And even when I fell off, and like I said, gave my life to Christ, went and had sex with someone, I was like, God, I messed up. Because he's never turned his back on me, and he will never turn his back on you, and you are never too far gone. No matter what anybody says or no matter what anybody makes you think, Jesus died for sinners. Before we even knew ourselves, before we even could love ourselves, he had made that choice to die. I would die for my kids, as most mothers would. But to die for somebody else's kid? And what about the bad kid, the disrespectful kid that goes around cussing people out, kicking people, throwing rocks at people's cars? Would you die for that kid?
No!
Most of us would scream no. But God did. God sent his son to do just that. To die for a maybe. Maybe they'll choose me this day. Maybe they won't. And he will keep coming back and knocking and saying, like, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Because this life has been the best life I've lived yet. And I'm so excited to see how much more life I get to live with God. Because yes, I was able to get my degree without God. Yes, I was able to get a really good job without God being in the center of it. He was just kind of orbiting around it, but he wasn't the center. And as y'all get ready to go to school and go back into school, go back and get ready for college, go back and get ready for your jobs, put God in the center of it. Wake up in the morning and say, like, God, what do you want me to do today? God, I don't feel like doing anything, but use me anyways. God, I don't know what school to go to, so I need you to direct me and to show me. Pray for discernment. Pray for wisdom. I said I was going to read this, but I'm actually, sorry guys, I'm not going to read it. But because of what God has done in my life, I've been able to learn the blessings of manifestations and affirmations. And so I said a lot of things, and I'm sorry if I was all over the place. I was trying to stay as much on track. I've been like practicing and going over this for so long that it just had to come out the way that it was meant to come out. But no matter what you've done or who you've been exposed to or what you're exposing others to, it is never too late to change. And not only is it never too late to change, it is never too late to release it, to evolve from it, to grow from it, to learn from it, and to let God bring the increase. And especially at the end of this journey of knowing that I'm valued and getting to be around other kids and letting them know that they're valued and that I see them, I hear them, and I want the best for them. All I can say is, can you imagine how much more God loves you? How much more God cares about you? And if that doesn't help you, we're going to pray for you. But I hope that you remember that you are filled with loving kindness, that you are valuable and you are capable, and you are more than enough, and you are an overcomer. You have been beautifully and wonderfully made, and maybe you don't know what you were called to do just yet. But if you just give it time, cultivate what you are good at, you'll be just fine. That's all I have.
Yeah.